Well, I've got a video for you today. I go to hop in my truck and let's see if it'll do it for me. Nothing. So today's video is going to be how to jump start a vehicle. So on these older trucks, this is a 2001, it was pretty straightforward to jump a vehicle. You would take your good vehicle and you would hook up, you'd go power to power on your dead vehicle, and then you would go ground on your good vehicle to ground somewhere about 18 inches away from the battery, so on this particular truck over here. And then the reason that you did that was because batteries, when they've been quickly discharged or quickly charged up, they tend to off gas through their vents and you get hydrogen gas out of them, very explosive. So when you go to hook up that ground, you would get a spark. So that was kind of the old school way of jump starting a vehicle. However, now there are control modules on vehicles pretty much everywhere. So once again, you're going battery to battery. Ideally, the best way to do this would be to use a booster pack because those are electronically controlled and they're going to be a little bit safer. However, we don't always have those available, and a good old set of booster cables is pretty inexpensive. So I'm going to show you how to do that using a newer vehicle that has some electronic controls and it has modules and some other components that can be very expensive if you damage them. So let's have a look, see here what we're going to do, how we're going to do this. I'm going to make sure my booster cables are not super tangled up. And I'm going to gain access to my battery. I'm going to go onto my power here. And these old GM side terminal batteries, not a great connection point for jump starting. On this particular truck, the alternator has a bigger post and that goes, as you can see, right over to my battery. So I'm going to use that as my power hookup. Now I'm going to go ground here. And if my newer vehicle had the same type of top post, I just go right directly on my top post. But as I don't, and I just have this small rusty terminal down there, I'm going to go on my ground location. I don't know if you saw that little spark there. You definitely hear the spark. So that little spark can be quite dangerous on a dead battery. I've only seen one explode twice. But if that gets in your eyes, that's not so good. Okay, so what we're gonna do at this point, make sure that I left my key off in the truck, which I did. Okay, that's good. If this battery was only slightly dead, we could try to start it now, but the key here on newer vehicles is you only ever want one engine running at a time. So old school, what you used to do is you'd start your good car with the good battery, you would run it, you'd rev it up a little bit, and then you would go start the truck. Well, with all the modern modules and control devices on them now, everything being computer controlled, I really got to clean that out, that's gross. Everything being computer controlled, that could end up frying some modules on the vehicle. So what we're going to do, only ever actually saw that, I was on a Ford Fiesta. So I'm going to start my donor car, and I'm just going to let it charge the battery in my other vehicle. It's still hard on the alternator, it's a little bit hard on the electrical system of the donor car, but it's a whole lot better than having two alternators running at the same time when you start up that other vehicle. I'm just going to rev it up a little bit here. And then this could take 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Yeah, click into my menu and see what my charging rate is at. And I'm at 15 volts. Okay, so my donor car has been running for a few minutes, or my good car, the good battery. So I'm going to shut this off. leaving my booster cables connected, so I've charged up that battery and I'm still connected over here. Get back in the truck. Dash light's up a little bit better now. And I didn't let it charge quite long enough. So I'm going to repeat that process, shut the camera off, and I'll turn it back on when we go to boost the truck. Okay, we're gonna try this again. It's been about 10 minutes. Survey says... So this is one of the downsides of boosting a vehicle this way, and that's why old school, they used to let both vehicles run at the same time, is it takes a while to charge this thing up. So since I'm at home, I'm kind of tempted to throw a battery charger on it and just let it go that way, but that wouldn't be very great for my video on how to boost a vehicle, would it? No, it would not. Okay, survey says... Boom! There it is! So, that was not the most convenient thing to do. That took a while. That was, let's see, I'm not a math magician here. Started at 126, it's 139. Actually, that's not terrible. Like 15-ish minutes. So, that's pretty reasonable. Okay, so now that the truck has started, remember I shut this good vehicle off already, so now what I'm gonna do, ground comes off first, and I don't want to do both on one vehicle at the same time, because if I touch them together I'm gonna get sparks and short things out. So ground off, power off, power off, and then neatly wrap those back up. Close your vehicles up. Before you do that, make sure you put all your covers and stuff back on, because those get expensive when you accidentally crush them in the hood. And then go to your destination. Now remember that the alternator is not meant for recharging the battery. The alternator is just meant for maintaining the charge. So ideally here, you'd want to get on with your day, do whatever it is that you're doing. But when you get back home, make sure you get a charger on the battery and get that thing charged up. So this leads me into our next video, which is going to be how to diagnose a parasitic draw on a battery. Thanks very much for watching and spending some time with me. Anything else I can help you with, let me know in the comments below. Have a good one. If you've watched the video to this point, it's clear that you want to know what you're doing to make sure that you do it right, so you don't make a mistake that ends up costing you more money than just hiring somebody to do this or having your vehicle towed. So I've pulled up here the exact jump starting procedures for this 2001 Chevy, the exact truck that we're working on today. And this is what you're looking for. This is about what you're going to expect to find, whether it be in an owner's manual, a Haynes manual. What I am going to recommend that you do is that you look this up before you need to know how to boost your vehicle, because it is really inconvenient if you're in a parking lot, you're at the side of the road, you're somewhere, it's always going to be dark or raining or cold. So you want to know what you're doing, maybe practice it a little bit, at least know where to hook up your jumper cables beforehand, before it's an emergency. And if we look at a different vehicle here, so here I've pulled up a Jaguar, and right from Jaguar, they do not recommend jump starting a vehicle. They even say it's recognized it may occasionally be the only way to mobilize the vehicle, so they do give a procedure, even though they don't recommend doing it. And here are a couple of other different warnings from some different manufacturers to have a look at. So if you're in doubt, don't worry about paying somebody to do this for you, because it is going to cost you a lot less to hire a professional than if you make a mistake and end up damaging a module. Even some of the vehicle, the main fuses can be a few $100s to get replaced.